Ellen. I see some new faces. And this is Angelique, and we are going to kick off the business Vortex 7-day free game tonight with this live call. We're expecting some more people, so people will start dripping in during the call. And yeah, tomorrow the game actually begins. So tonight is kind of the kickoff to get you excited, to get you warmed up and eager to begin tomorrow. So what we'll be going through is why would you appreciate, what is the 7-day taster game, what is the 28-day game that you can play after the 7-day game is over, and then the offer, what is the investment. So let's begin with a beautiful 5-minute heart opening. So for people coming in now, we're going to do a little bit of heart opening to just set the stage and to get used to this practice and how it feels for the people who aren't as familiar with heart opening and heart coherence. Well, that was heart and brain coherence. I hope that felt good for you. For me, it feels like the natural state of being. So it just always feels like coming home. And I try to be in this state throughout the day. And I know Angelique does too. And most of the people who've been playing the appreciation game, probably all of them, are in this state as much as they can as well. So the accountability game setting with a group, we're going to move from the left part on your screen, which is the red, towards the pink. Thank you, Angelique. So yeah, we have these old habits, which are so easy to fall into because we've created neural pathways throughout our lives that brought us into these states. And what we want to be doing is creating new habits and creating new neural pathways so that these become the new normal and that we naturally gravitate towards these. So there are 7 toxic ways of thinking. We're going through this a little bit later as well. And these are just the generalization and devaluing of things and just normal things that we do as humans and that do not feel good and that are actually counterproductive to what we want to be doing. And with the radical appreciation and heart brain coherence, what we're learning to do constantly in the appreciation game. So we're moving from the toxic ways of thinking to the radical appreciation. And then that this feeling you just had in this beautiful 5-minute meditation is going to be something that you naturally gravitate towards your own life. So we're hypnotized in the former way of being by what is, what was, and what we don't want. And it's just like we use our senses and we see, but all this bad stuff is happening, but actually we're becoming a vibrational match to where we're going and what we're attracting and what we're achieving in our lives. So we are this success story. Thank you, Angelique. So yeah, catching and transforming the 7 toxic ways of thinking and being. So the key is we're in these toxic ways of thinking and being, but we don't even really realize it. So one of the big keys, and by appreciating, it's going to become more aware that when you are when you're in these 7 toxic ways of thinking and actually catching yourself so that you can shift. If you don't know you're doing it, then you can't shift it. So victim and lack consciousness is comparing, competing, devaluing, generalization, and blaming. We can sort of call them all like victim and lack consciousness. And then creating from survival is like time warping, catastrophic thinking, and urgency, which is mass consciousness, or what is also sometimes called pendulums. Like this is what the world does and behaves, and we get sort of sucked into this almost way of being that is normal in the world. So it takes study and especially application. So that's bold because that's what makes this appreciation game so effective, because we're actually doing the work together and we're applying all the teachings that we're learning. And we're creating these new neural networks that we really need to create so that it's easier. So in the beginning, maybe we're catching ourselves in these 7 toxic ways of being, and then we're able to shift ourselves, and it's going to be maybe a little bit more effort, but over time it's going to be, oh, I caught myself, and then shift, and that'll just be, yeah, the way we handle situations in our lives. Yeah, so waking up, we in our lives are hypnotized by what is the reality of our facts. We have these senses, we see things, we're like, no, this is actually happening and I don't want this, and then we're focusing on all these bad things and we're trying to fix it by efforting and going through all that. And then yeah, if this is what is possible for me because I see this happening around me. Oh, these people achieve this and they're sort of from the same background as I, so that's probably going to happen to me. So that's not what we want. Those are old habits that need to go. So we're going to tune into new potentials with appreciation. We're going to surrender and let go of the how. So letting go of the how means we're not going to strive and effort and do our best to achieve and do more work in order to make more. And no, we're going to learn that we are the vibrational match. So we're going to receive intuition for the next step. Even if it may seem illogical, we're going to trust that this next logical step is the right one for us. So what do we do in the appreciation game? It's very simple. We appreciate 3 times a day. Angelique is going to take us through the David Hawkins consciousness scale a little bit later and the Abraham Hicks Vortex scale. And in general, what we're going to do is we're going to appreciate 3 times a day. So first we're going to see, how do I feel right now? And then we'll go through the scale and then write down how we feel, appreciate. So it's very similar to what we just did in that meditation. And then after that, write down how we feel again, so we can see the shifts in happening. So the one key here is that it has to be 68 seconds at least that you appreciate. And once a day we post in the group. So this goes for everyone. We post once a day in the group. There's also going to be some, you're able to say like, hey, I can't like make 7 days. I'm going to do 6 days or whatever, but at least that's sort of the goal. We're going to that is the goal. Post once a day in the group, because the group energy, as we'll also see later, is very important and beneficial. So it is our promise to you, if you write things you appreciate in others, in life, and in yourself, you have such a dramatic change in 30 days, and if continued for 6 months, the change will be so powerful, so strong, that others who know you will not recognize the old you. So yeah, 1 month is huge, 6 months is life-changing. The 28-day appreciation game, Business Vortex. So accountability in game setting, that's sort of the golden thing here that everyone says is the most valuable. We may know we need to appreciate, but are we actually going to do that? So that's why the group is so powerful. According to Abraham, appreciation is the only tool you would ever need to predominantly hook up to who you really are. So that is who you really are, really. So when you were just opening your heart in that 5-minute meditation, the feeling you were having, that's closer to who you really are than who you are when you're doing errands or whatever. So if it was the only thing you would do, your life would improve in ways you never thought possible. The effects of appreciation, it's the highest vibration, it's higher than love. So this is according to Abraham. This appreciation creates, so being in a state of appreciation and you are a creator. It improves your lives, you'll be thriving, you'll be in alignment in the receptive mode, which is so important. Like all these things may show up in your life, but you need to allow it in. Appreciation is the opposite of lack, and you stop analyzing. Appreciation in the receptive mode. So when you are appreciating, resistance dissolves. And when resistance dissolves, you're able to receive. You're going to hear blocks of thought that source offers, which is Angelique and our favorite, I think, because we love having guidance. This whole game is based on this guidance that we get, that we receive from source, and hearing guidance from our inner being, following and trusting the impulse that comes in the receptive mode, leading you to experience the happy journey towards manifestation, because we're also here to manifest. So when you're creating from a state of survival, you're in the human laws and conditioning, the man-made laws, scarcity, mindless action-driven strategies, ignorance levels of consciousness. You're ignoring the guidance and intuition. You're sabotaging yourself. You're in victim consciousness, self-worth issues, the pendulums of hard work. The subconscious programs are running your life, and you're affected by transgenerational trauma. We do not want to be there. Like, even saying it is hard for me. Living in a state of creation, you're abiding by the universal laws. You're living from the end result. You know where you're going, and you know that that's where you're going. You know you have to bring your vibration up, and you're allowing it to unfold. You're feeling abundant in your life. You are abundant. You're raising the level of consciousness and vibration. You're in the receptive mode. You're allowing all the good things to come to your life, and you feel worthy of them. You're open to the guidance and intuition and heart-brain coherence. So the intuition from the source and from your inner being. You're seeing through the eyes of source. You're seeing others through the eyes of source. You're seeing the beauty of the world. And you receive what we vibrate into the quantum field. So you are this end result that you're creating. You are it. So you're receiving it because you are it. There's no other way about it. So that feels a lot better. The 7 toxic ways of thinking. So they are devaluing, literally the opposite of appreciation. Appreciation is increasing the value of something. Victimization and blame. Like, you just tend to just go back to the safe corner of, oh, it feels actually good to be the victim because I get attention. Comparing and competing. Others have it. I want this. Oh, I need to fight for it. Time warping. Not being in the present moment. Generalization. People like me never, ... Catastrophic thinking. Everything always turns badly for me, and urgency has to happen now or else everything will fall to pieces. So yeah, really need to become very familiar with those and catch yourself whenever you're there, and then learn to shift it. So that's what we'll be practicing with the appreciation game. If there's something that you desire and it's not coming to you, it always means the same thing. You are not a vibrational match to your own desire. So that's also a little wake-up call right there. So when I have a desire, I've got to become a vibrational match to the desire. I can't be over here aware that I don't have it. I've got to somehow match it, which means I've got to be expectant of it. You have to expect it to happen. And I will leave you now for Angelique to explain the beautiful David Hawkins scale of consciousness.
Yes. So basically why we chose the David Hawkins consciousness scale is because if you're really geeky like me and Eleanor and the people that I mastermind with, you would like to have scientific evidence of whatever is going on. And I believe David Hawkins was a prolific scientist. He did a lot of tests, and of course we love Abraham Hicks, but Abraham Hicks isn't a scientist like Dr. Joe or David Hawkins. So we really love the science. And actually, when you really start to combine the teachings of David Hawkins and the teachings of Abraham Hicks and Dr. Joe, then you really start to see what's going on. What are really the ingredients for vibration, you as a vibrational being. And let us start with this little differentiation here between force and power, yeah, because that makes a whole difference. So those of you who have played with us before, you've probably studied this chart, but those of you who are new, we're going to start from a blank page, and let's start with understanding that when you are in force, you do not have enough energy to manifest what you want, because you're actually manifesting everything that you don't want. People who are in force, they do not take responsibility. The critical point when you go from force to power is the point of 200, and in 200 you take responsibility. And the critical difference, I believe, between somebody who takes responsibility and somebody who doesn't take responsibility is when you catch yourself blaming something, somebody else, or maybe Brexit or the weather or astrology or your karma or your family system or whatever it is, even transgenerational trauma or a disease for what's going on in your life. So what we've seen in, especially like even with all, Ellen and I are in the Dr. Joe community, with all the people healing themselves from stage 4 cancer or debilitating diseases and all of these things, people who manifest abundance, people who manifest their soulmate, they have stopped believing that they are a victim. They have stopped blaming people. They have stopped being resentful. So this is a critical key point of when you want to manifest better, you need to become better, because it's all about who you are. If you've listened to our webinar last night about the relationship game, you do not manifest and magnetizing things equal to your level of consciousness. So what is really beautiful about this game is that when you have to appreciate 3 times a day, so you do it in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, and we give you worksheets if you want to, and we're even developing an app, which is amazing. Some of us are testing the app, and the app is working. So, I manifested the app developer into my life without doing anything, because that's what Dr. Joe teaches. You are not going to the vortex, you are the vortex. So I believe that we are, Ellen and I and Byron, we're guided to create this. So basically the app is working, but because the app is being tested, you'll have to take a pen and paper or download one of our worksheets. What you're going to do is 3 times a day, before you appreciate, you start to check in where you are in terms of your mood. And so you could be, for instance, in your business life, you could be very stressed out. So you could be feeling, I don't know, a little bit of, maybe frustration, or you might be feeling a bit of competition, like you might be going to a client meeting and you'll be thinking, oh, this client is going to be difficult again. Or you might be going to a network meeting and feeling a little bit of, fear, because you might be thinking, how am I going to get get my pitch right? Or I want to make such a good impression. So all of these things are really about your level of consciousness, and people will pick it up whether you want it or not. And so what is important about the appreciation game is that appreciation is a very simple tool to increase your level of, to increase your level of consciousness by improving your thinking, by improving the way that you think. So we're not trying to dissect all the thoughts we have, because there's just too many thoughts that we have, but we're looking at the core of how you think. So if you catch yourself in any of the 7 toxic ways of thinking, or you catch yourself believing only in what was, or what you don't want, you know, you're just fearing what you want, then you know you have to get out of it and you have to start appreciating. As Abraham Hicks would say, when you're over analyzing, you're not appreciating. So those of us who love our brain, who love our mind, actually I have bad news for you, because an analysis is not appreciation. Analysis is actually, according to Greg Braden, a lot of you actually know Greg Braden as well. We masterminded Greg Braden when he came to Amsterdam. Greg Braden actually, through his research, also showed us that when we are in the brain, when we are in the analytical brain, we get stuck in polarity thinking. So we're just going from yes, 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 no, no, no. So we just polarize. We just are polarized in our thinking. Whereas when we actually go into the heart-brain coherence, which is what appreciation does, which is based on all the scientific research that Ellen and I found about appreciation. We manifested this paper called Appreciative Heart from the HeartMath Institute. When you go into that research, actually when you are in heart-brain coherence, you actually open up the gateway to actually for you to receive intuition and guidance and direct knowing from the quantum field. And we really believe that this is not based on science. And this is basically when you would probably do a lot of the research like what Dr. Joe is doing now. You'll see that people who are actually more intuitive, who are more successful, they have different levels of coherence. They are not living in survival. They are probably more open in their hearts, and they're not using their analytical brain as much. They're more in tune to what I think the quantum field is giving to them. So what does this have to do with power? So power is the moment that you start taking responsibility and you get out of victim consciousness. And this, I think, is the biggest thing that you can do in your whole life, for every area in your life. We're talking about health, we're talking about relationship, we're talking about money, all the things that matter. So Ellen and I, our lessons are in business and in relationships. So we're not the one that are going to design a health vortex game, because that's not our challenge. Our challenge, or our invitation, is business. So what I would say is, when you start to take responsibility for the business results, and you start noticing how much you are devaluing, how much you are in the 7 toxic ways of being regarding your business, regarding your clients, regarding your prospects, regarding your sales, regarding your bank account, regarding your pipeline, regarding the vision you have for your business, you're going to see how you created this unsatisfactory results in your life. And maybe you're happy with your business, but you actually want to start something new. A lot of you I know are playing with ideas of, you know, I want to do less of this and I actually want to do this. They have this amazing dream, but they're scared to take the next step. And I would say, when you play the appreciation game, what you're going to do is you're going to start noticing how much you're devaluing this amazing idea, and how you are devaluing yourself, how you are underestimating the guidance that is coming from the field, how you're in over-analysis and you're not even picking up the guidance that might be coming from the quantum field, where you could be a cooperative component to actually starting up this new business idea or this new revenue stream that can only be channeled through you. And so what I would say is, what we do in the appreciation game, we help you catch yourself being in force where you don't have any power, to step back into being a deliberate creator, where you then climb up the ladders of consciousness. So when you study the descriptions of the ladders of consciousness, what you're going to see is that you will, some days you will find yourself encouraged, but you find it hard to trust. Because when you trust, you're in 250. And I can tell you from myself, trust is a hard one, especially with money. If you're dealing with money struggles and you are fearful, you're probably here in 100 than you are here. But if you're taking responsibility on a day-to-day basis and you're trusting the universe more, you're seeing more evidence of actually that you are a deliberate co-creator, then you can actually start to look at those little areas in your life where you're not trusting the universe. You're not trusting that, you know, that the universe, the field is actually responding to who you are. But what you then do is, because we're in a group setting, you will see other people manifest because they're just a little bit higher in their consciousness. They could be in love, or they could be in joy with their business or their relationships. You see them manifesting all these things, and you're thinking, hey, what's going on here? And you're going to be inspired, because you're going to see that people that are manifesting things effortlessly into their life, they are very often in 500. They are loving their life. They are in love with life. They're not coming from neediness. They love their clients. They love themselves. They appreciate themselves. And they have a positive outlook about their business results. And so these people that we've had in our business, in our last game, these people manifest amazing things coming to them. Like, they get intuitions about what they should be doing, like fun things. They're not even attached to it. And these things start happening. And not only that, they have, apart from business results changing, they also start manifesting, changes in the people that they love, like miraculous things happening for people that they love. And so for me, it was amazing to witness that, in our little game with 17 people playing, that we could really see who were on the top, who were basically, because they were operating on a level of love, and those that were playing the game that were just switching in and out between force and power. Some were still struggling with comparing and competing themselves, judging themselves, or thinking, oh, I cannot forgive this person. These people were struggling. They were just breaking through in terms of awareness. But there's nothing wrong with that, because the thing is, with the appreciation game, you need to start somewhere. And when you don't do it in an accountability setting, you're not going to do it. Basically, you're going to be stuck in knowing it, but not doing it, and never being it. And so I think the appreciation game is really an invitation for all of us to actually stop the knowing and to actually start doing it. But the doing it, you can find many settings. You could set up your own mastermind. You could, I've been in masterminds for many years. I've led them myself. And I can say, when you want the results, you have to start aligning yourself with the doers, not the people that just know it, not the people who are workshop addicts, not the people who just go for the high of a retreat, because you now want to prove to yourself that you can manifest, that you are manifesting. In fact, you are manifesting everything in your life right now. Those of you who haven't watched the relationship webinar, last night we went through great lengths to actually go through the quotes of Abraham Hicks or Dr. Joe, that were, reminding us that we are always, everything that's going on around us is a direct reflection, a mirror of our level of consciousness. So from my studies of the David Hawkins scale, I can tell you that the most successful people, their success, when you see people having great success in their business, because I imagine that a lot of you want the business success, their level of consciousness happens at 350. And why 350? Because 350 is the level of consciousness where they are forgiving people. They're letting people off the hook. They're not standing by and saying, I don't want this to happen. People shouldn't be treating me like this, or I'm so, resentful of my competitor doing this, or this industry being like this. They really believe that, they allow things to be. Acceptance means allowing. So they allow the contrast. They allow the evil competitors or the people that are trying to compete with them, but they are still working on their level of consciousness so that they create the beneficial outcomes. Everybody above 200 will be manifesting beneficial outcomes, because one person in alignment is more powerful than millions that are not. And so what Ellen and I have been doing, we actually manifested or found many videos of actually real case studies of the Abraham Hicks students or some of the Dr. Joe students that really started manifesting things that were out of the ordinary, whether it was business, whether it was love, or whether it was business and love. And, some of them are really, really, what you can see is that a lot of them, they were never here, meaning they were never coming from neediness. All of them were playful. All of them were detached. All of them were not needing it to happen. And they were just in a playful way thinking, oh, wouldn't it be nice if that happened? So when you are in acceptance, let's go back again. When you are in acceptance, you also allow yourself to experience contrast. And when contrast happens, you don't beat yourself up. So you don't say, why did I manifest that? You just say, oh, I manifested contrast. I did that. you manifested amazing things. I did that. So you take that level of responsibility, you take that power, and you start to work with it, you play with it. And so what we're going to teach you is to tune into new potentials. Is every time you manifest countries, you say, wow, I manifested that. What can I learn from this? And how can I tune into a new potential without the drama, without beating yourself up? Because beating yourself is devaluing yourself, is the worst thing that you can do. Because the best thing that you can do in everything that Abraham teaches and what Dr. Joe teaches is you have to love yourself. Everything is reflecting how much you love yourself, because the world is a mirror of you, your relationship with yourself. There are no other people. Yeah. So this is why I think when you go to acceptance, one of the other things that is a pivotal thing in your consciousness is that you trust. You take responsibility. So you take responsibility because you're in 200, you start trusting, which, I can tell you that's quite hard because I had to deal a lot with not trusting. You are optimistic about your business. You're hopeful, at least. And then you start forgiving people. You let other people off the hook. You're not bitching about Mr. Trump. You're not bitching about Brexit. You are creating, despite other people focusing on what's wrong with the world, you are creating alignment with your vortex. You are being a cooperative component with all the success that's already waiting for you, all the clients that are already waiting for you. Yeah. And so when you go into acceptance and you are in 350, another critical thing that also happens, and this is something you really need to live, which is there is nothing that can be given to you that will make you whole. And that means you're not coming from neediness. You do not need the success to feel successful. You do not need the big deal to feel rich. You do not need this specific client to sing you praises so that you feel valued. You do not need the relationship to feel loved. When you are in acceptance, you know that your wholeness comes from the inside because you have an inner alignment that is really fills you up from the core. And when you have that inner alignment, you do things because you are motivated from inside. You are not trying to achieve and strive for it and effort for it. And I think, when you can download the books from David Hawkins. And I would say, if you really resonate with some of these skills of consciousness because you're stuck there, do buy the books online and start reading them, because they're going to really help you to make this appreciation game even more come alive. Because what you need to do is you need to understand how you can shift to these higher levels and how your life will radically change. So for every day of the business vortex game, Ellen and I have several videos, so 1 or 2 at least, mostly 2 videos. One video will very often talk about a skill that we need to practice, and the skills which we call the alignment skills are the opposite of the habits that we need to break. So what you have to see is that we've been conditioned as human beings to live in these habits that are the furthest creator. We need to practice skills. So when we have a video up, we will actually create a chart, and I've created these charts together with Ellen, where we dissect for you. This is the skill you are going to practice today, and this is the habit that you're overcoming. And because when you do that, you start attributing more meaning to the exercises, and you will actually be able to assess whether certain skills are hard for you. So, and I think this is going to be really, really useful. So apart from that, there will be a second video. The second video will be a fun video about somebody having an amazing manifestation. And what I would love you to do is to really understand at which level of consciousness do you believe that person is when they are manifesting money coming from nowhere, business partners coming from nowhere, their lover appearing from nowhere, checks coming from nowhere. I mean, we found some amazing Abraham Hicks video testimonials, and I really want you to wonder and to be curious as to how are these people magnetizing these miraculous things into their life, because if they can do it, you can do it. But the only thing that you have to do is you have to go from knowing to doing to being. And the step from knowing to doing, that is where the discomfort is. That is what Dr. Joe calls crossing the river of change. That is where you are going to have to challenge your old ways of being. And a lot of the old ways of being, I will actually really make an effort to dissect the resistance that comes up with every new skill, because I have experienced them. I have experienced the discomfort of telling a new story. For instance, that is a big critical skill. Or telling a new story entails that you feel that you're lying. Like, how can I tell the story of my business being successful, whereas in fact reality says it's not, you know? So these are all the things that we need to overcome when we're practicing these new skills. Also, when we are telling a better feeling story, we very often feel like, you know, how is this possible? I might be disappointed when I tell this new story and it's not going to happen. And this is why it's so important that you inundate yourself with the evidence that other people are doing it. They're living this already. And it's not because they're skilled or they have better DNA or something. They just happen to be unconsciously competent. You know, like one of the people in my life, you know, like my boyfriend, he's unconsciously competent. He does things that are, you know, that people teach you to do in big, you know, in big masterminds. And he didn't even go to these courses. He just downloads it from the field, and he doesn't even know he's downloading. And so a lot of people that are actually very successful, I can tell you, in business, like the inventors of the world, the people that are, you know, the richest people in the world, they just know what they're doing. The people that are very so-called lucky in love, they know what they're doing, but they actually cannot teach it to you because they weren't curious enough. They weren't struggling enough maybe to actually be able to understand how to dissect what they were doing. And you're very lucky because I'm here and I have been studying assessment of leadership skills and competencies for years. And so what I love to do is to look at people's behavior and to break it down and to really know what everybody's doing so that I can master it, I can replicate it, and I can teach people how to do it. That's what I love to do. And this is why you're probably here. This is why you are here in the Vortex with us, learning about this, because you don't want to just know it, you want to live it, and you want to do it, and you want to master it, and you want to be the living example of the truth, as Dr. Joe would say. So those of you who would actually rather take this emotional guidance scale of Abraham Hicks, feel free to do that. Imagine that Abraham Hicks has a lot of videos about the emotional guidance skills. So you can find all the information about that on YouTube or of course in their books. But what we would say, Abraham says, is when you're in hopefulness here in 6, that is when you're climbing up. That is when you start getting closer to your manifestation. But actually, you know, we think that when you go into heart and brain coherence, this simple trick of appreciation, when you go into heart and brain coherence, you very often will always come to hopefulness. I mean, it's just really hard to actually stay in these states of like disappointment, pessimism, blame, anger, when you're in heart and brain coherence. Because when you're in heart and brain coherence, your wisdom of your heart starts to speak, and you get out of this neural network of survival and competing and blaming and victimization. And that is such a beautiful thing that happens. So this is why we would recommend 3 times a day to appreciate, but actually, if you can, to actually really monitor yourself to live in that state of appreciation. And some of the people that were playing the appreciation game with us, some of them were inspired by some of the things that I would do. For instance, I would say, today I will appreciate everything. And I would challenge myself to go out and to go into the tube or go into a mall and to appreciate everybody and everything. So one of the last things that I actually manifested with Valentine's Day, I will say that, of course, I appreciated my boyfriend sending me beautiful roses, and I had the idea to go to Ellen's house and to actually buy her and her daughter some food. And while I was just appreciating that my life was so beautiful, I was walking around in the mall, and then suddenly these group of young boys came to me and they gave me this little heart. I'm very proud of it. And I will say, you know what, when you are in appreciation, when you open your heart, you get so many synchronicities of people showering you with love, and just random strangers showering you with love. So let's go back to why we are playing the game. We're playing the game because we noticed that and of course I've lived this myself, is that for so many years we don't know what we're doing. We go to all the courses and then we don't really put the pieces together. And what I've started doing is, because I've been studying so many teachers, I've spent so much money understanding the teachings of the biggest teachers in the world, going to retreats, going to workshops, signing up to masterminds, being really active with studying with different teachers. I started seeing things that other people couldn't see. And so what I started seeing is that when we're not appreciating, we're actually really coming from all these toxic ways of thinking about our business. So imagine that you are not successful in your business. I will ask you to look at this chart, and you will either be doing two things. Yeah. So you'll either be blaming it on yourself, or you're blaming it on other people, or which is blaming victimization thinking. And you're thinking about, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm not talented enough, I'm not commercial enough, I'm not a good enough salesperson, or money is not enough, this job doesn't pay well enough. Or you're saying my business is not, you know, is not technological enough, my business is not innovative enough, you know, whatever is going on in your business. You might be blaming your employees, you might be blaming your industry, or you're blaming your clients or prospects, or they want to negotiate the big discounts, or they cannot afford you, or blah blah blah. So basically that's one of the ways that a lot of people are stuck in the business. Another way that people are very often stuck in the business is that when they think about business or work or money and career, they believe that the work, the money, the success, or the financial wealth will cause something that they don't want. So work could cause them to be too busy so that they don't have time to do what they really want, which is like have more holidays, maybe have a more time and financial freedom. So they want the business success, but on the other hand, there's a lot of resistance to the business success as well. Or they want a lot of money, but then they think, oh my gosh, but if I have money, then you know, maybe I will lose it, or I'll have to pay too much taxes, or I'll have all these people coming to me asking me for money, or I'll feel so guilty asking for money. So there's so many subconscious beliefs about what will happen when you actually do get the money. A lot of people are also fearful of success, you know. When you actually do the studies, you know, people are they have either fear of failure, or they have fear of success. And success can cause a lot of people to also have fears about being rejected, fear of being an imposter, and all of these things could happen. But also success could also mean that I'll be my dad that never has time. I'll be my dad that was never there for his children. Or I'll be this greedy person that doesn't have friends anymore, that's too busy to enjoy their life. You know, so I want you to really understand that when you are doing all of this, you are not appreciating. You are doing the opposite of appreciation. And it takes a long time for us to wake up to actually see, oh my God, I am living in a state of devaluing everything about my business. Am I actually even surprised that I don't have any success? I can tell you that when I started realizing that I wasn't appreciating my business, I have several business vehicles, and one of my businesses, I was working my ass off and I wasn't achieving any result. And I kept beating the drum of, I'm not getting results. I am working so hard on this. I don't know what it is that I'm doing. And once I started shifting it to appreciation, and I started really looking at my behavior, I can tell you that I had an uplift in my business of 430%. And I started attracting people coming to me that I wasn't even prospecting. I swear to God, these people suddenly felt that I had something they needed, and they didn't have any evidence that I had these products. They said they felt something and they said, I want to contact you. I want to talk about your business. They found out that I was working with products that they were looking for. And then they started running with the business. And, you know, and this happened with several people, and that increased my business massively just by me being inspired to value my business and to appreciate my business, appreciate the products, appreciate how many people needed the products, and appreciate how much the products were helping other people. And so this example that I was living myself, I can tell you that it really made me see how toxic it is for you and for me and for everybody in the world to be devaluing their business, because if you are alive today and you are running a business, there will be somebody or many people that need your expertise, that need your gifts, that need your talent, that need your skill. But if you are devaluing your business, if you are devaluing the value of what you have to offer, if you are devaluing what other people will think of you, you know, you are really not, you are really get out of the vortex, and you're living in a state of survival. You're not seeing the truth. That's not even the truth. It's just a story you keep telling yourself because of the lower levels of consciousness that you're living in. So when you notice yourself devaluing yourself, your business, your products, your services, your clients, your prospects, your sales, your bank account, stop it. You know, the appreciation game can help you do that, because we've really designed the game in such a way that you're going to stop doing that. You're going to be invited to do the opposite of it, which is tell a new story, imagine a new story, really start getting comfortable with the skill of actually lining up with that new vortex reality, that where your business is thriving, where you are being paid for what you love to do, and where you are a successful business entrepreneur and you are leaving a legacy to the world. And that is possible for all of us, because I really believe Ellen and I set a very strong intention to attract only the right people into the game. And if you're going to be in this game, you're going to be riding on the intention that we've set for this game, which is you are going to leave a business legacy, which is right and perfect for you and all the other cooperative components that want to work with you. And so let's go to this side of the column, which is where we are blaming, you know, the Institute of Business, money or work, and we are not looking at infinite possibilities. And when we believe that something else will cause something negative to happen, we are not understanding the law of cause and effect, because there is no other cause than our level of consciousness. So once you start catching yourself thinking, oh, but success will bring me this, or when I'm too busy, this will bring me this, stop it, because you are not understanding the application of the law of cause and effect. So, and I had to catch myself, you know, having all of these negative thoughts, but now I'm really open about it. Now, when I catch myself going into resistance about my diary, about how busy it is, or how many people want to talk to me, how many people need my help to build their business, I actually start to talk to my partner and Ellen, and I say, you know what, I have to get out of this, like this pendulum. I need to appreciate how busy I am. I need to appreciate how much money I'm making. I need to appreciate, you know, how many people we are helping, and how many, and I need to appreciate the success of our clients. And when I start going there, then I get excited again. So I think, you know, it's not that I have it all together. I can say that, you know, this is something that these are hardwired programs in our life and in our mass consciousness. And to actually practice this is really work, and this is really something that you need to cultivate, you know, for an extended period of time. And this is why I believe that Abraham Hicks said, you know, 1 month of doing this, it will be great, but actually when you do it for 6 months, that is when people do not recognize you anymore. So, so yeah, this is a very promising thing. What we've seen in our former appreciation game, which was about business, money, and career, is that people started shifting their businesses. They manifested more ideal clients. They manifested clients not negotiating about prices anymore. And definitely, I was very, very amazed by one of the people that actually manifested 0 revenue in his practice to go to 8K in his practice for the first time since he started this practice. And that was just through the practice of appreciation. And what happens when you appreciate? When you appreciate, and this is the Hart, Matt, and Greg Braden research and teaching, when you are in appreciation, you actually become very psychic. So when you become very psychic, you are in tune with the quantum field. You start picking up the intentions of other people. So instead of calling 1,000 people, you know who to call, you know which person to call. And so this is why I believe when I started appreciating my business and I started appreciating the services and products that I had to offer, that people that were looking for the product, they were resonating, they felt something, they could feel that I had something to offer that they needed. And I think this is exactly what's going on. We are so telepathic, but when you are not a vibrational match to even your business desire and your vortex, people that are already looking for the product, they're already looking for the service, they cannot feel you. Yeah. So you might be sitting next to them and devaluing your own business, devaluing yourself, devaluing your clients, devaluing, you know, your vortex, not, you know, not believing in your vortex, believing more in what was and all the pain that you had and all this, the struggle that you had in your business. And that person that was your perfect client, your perfect business partner, maybe your perfect romantic partner, they're not going to feel it. They're not even going to recognize you, and you're not going to recognize them. And wouldn't that be a shame, right? And so I can really say, you know, appreciation game, I think we haven't even seen what's possible. And Ellen and I are just so excited about what will happen when we continue this game and we start seeing how people are taking their business to greater heights because they are then living what I would call the co-creation with source that is possible. And these are the teachings from Michael Bernard Beckwith, which I studied as well. I was in one of his courses last year. I was guided to be in one of his courses, and that course really shifted my life. And those are the teachings that we'll be teaching when we're doing the 28-day game, because the 7-day game is just a taster, but you'll get a lot of information already in the 7-day game. So we wanna share as well this recipe from Abraham Hicks for deliberate creation, and they say that deliberate creation has 10 parts, and 50% of it is appreciation. 50%. I mean, that's a big part. And imagine that, as Ellen said, we are so often wired into the 7 toxic ways of thinking. We are completely, you know, thinking about reality. We're focused about fears. We're focused on our fears. We focus on what we don't want. We are complaining. We are feeling worry. We're over analyzing. We are generalizing. We are in catastrophic thinking. We are in, you know, urgency sometimes when we do business. I mean, that's the opposite of appreciation. That's the opposite of being in heart and brain coherence. 2 parts is about imagining a little better than what is. And very often when we are living in a state of survival, we are not trying to imagine better than what is. We're trying to fix things. We're trying to overanalyze and worry about how we can prevent things getting worse. And we become a little bit, you know, mired in the problems rather than the solutions. And if we know that this is a vibrational universe and that when we're imagining, we're actually tuning into new potentials, we are actually collapsing, you know, quantum potential into matter, then we would probably give imagination a little bit more credit. And we would, instead of being busy with action, we would probably take a little bit more time a day to chill out, relax, and to imagine things better than they are through, for instance, watching a mind movie, or through, for instance, scripting or segment intention or placement process or pre-paving, all of these processes that Abraham Hicks has given to us that we very often don't make time for because we're too busy. We are too busy, like being busy, right? And that's a program. The busyness program has to stop, because I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from Abraham Hicks is that this hard work pendulum, which is also a teaching of the reality transurfing book, if you want to look it up. I think it's the hard work pendulum. I think it's chapter 4 or chapter 3 of the book Reality Transurfing. We believe that hard work will give us more results, but actually it's the opposite. Hard work doesn't give you anything. Hard work gives you a lot of busyness, but it doesn't mean that people that work hard are more successful. Actually, there are more and more people that are now coming with the I think more accurate idea that hard work does not yield success. What yields success is when you are raising your level of consciousness to collaborate together and co-create with the quantum field, so that the quantum field brings you the right people, circumstances, and events that line you up with what is a co-creation with the divine. And I think that when we live like that, then our business becomes like a complete different vehicle than what we believe it is when we are living in survival, because then we're just, we're just creating a business from our own ego, and we don't even see the point of the business because we don't see ourselves as a channel of the divine, right? So okay, so let's go back to the recipe. 5 parts appreciation, 2 parts imagination, 2 other parts looking for things that would make you feel better. Again, that is not really, we're so realistic that we never want to see things that make us feel better in our business. We're very often afraid to disappoint ourselves. So very often we are realistic, we are factual, and and this is not how you can co-create a new reality. And when you start listening to the videos of the people that are manifesting amazing results, they're manifesting amazing, like really the videos are quite profound. When you start listening to the videos of what these people manifest as business success, they were not realistic. They had huge dreams, and some of them became the Forbes one of the people that was in one of the videos, I think he's in the Forbes 1000, and he's one of the most successful or most richest men in the Forbes 1000 list or 100 list. I think it's 1000. There was another woman who really manifested the best, like the biggest people coming to her with deals, and they just wanted to work with her. She didn't even know why. I mean, I really think, when we start understanding the mechanism of deliberate creation, we have to start seeing that a lot of the things that we do in our business life, we have to detox from it. I would call it a detox, because it's going to be hard. You're going to have like what I would have, and I have it still, these like, what is it they called, like it's like when you stop drinking Coca-Cola, when you stop drinking caffeine, it's withdrawal systems. You're going to think, oh my God, I feel so guilty, I should be busy, I should be doing this, how can I be aligning, doing this process on an Abraham Hicks or watching a video on the appreciation game, I should be busy. I will tell you that will happen to you, but once you start doing it the other way, you will see your business shift. And that's what we've been seeing in our business game. Alan and I have been seeing it for our own lives. I've seen it with my other business. The less I did, the more I aligned, the more I visualized, the more I was watching my mind movie, the more I was just basking in the feeling of loving my clients and loving my Vortex results. They weren't even in my life yet. The more that these people came into my life. And so another part, 10% of the recipe is chilling out, quieting your mind, not over analyzing, stop the thinking, chill out, relax, and not efforting. And I mean, that is going to be hard, right? Because a lot of us are always overthinking, we're overanalyzing, we're figuring out the how. We're probably signing up for another marketing course, we're watching another video about how to do amazing marketing. And I think when that is the intuition that's coming from the quantum field to do that, yeah, do that. But when you are still living in a state of survival, when you are still devaluing yourself, when you are still blaming your business, you're still blaming money or your clients or your competitors, you are not, you can do all of these marketing courses and you're still not going to get results because your level of consciousness is too low. And these ideal business partners, they're on a higher level of frequency. They cannot recognize you. So this is coming from the real premise that vibrational matching is the basis of our reality. Everything is a vibrational match. So a lot of the things that we'll be teaching in the appreciation game will be geared towards you mastering becoming a vibrational match. Yeah. So again, I'll repeat, 7 toxic ways of being. Those are the things those are the habits you will be breaking, and you'll be breaking the habit of only seeing what is and thinking that appearances or or temporary reality is the only reality. Those are the habits you're going to break. So the alignment skills, I really tried to look at what are the alignment skills that we're going to teach. I'm not sure this is exhaustive, but I think one of the habits you need to break is to stop facing undesired reality, which is temporary reality. It's just one quantum potential. We're going to teach you and we're going to help you to be a visioneer, to see things better than they are, and to also face the things that you need to do, but to also think better than and think better about solutions than you're used to doing. So you're going to practice it, and then you can assess it for yourself. So we want you to be very rigorous about what we're teaching you with the alignment skills, is that you do not just practice it, you can assess it for yourself. And so another one is you're going to stop talking about reality. You're going to stop telling the story that your business is not going well, or that your clients are so difficult, that there are no clients, or that you haven't had the success and you've been slaving your butt off for I don't know how many years. You're going to stop being factual, because these are the teachings. When you study the book Money and the Law of Attraction, this is like first chapter, it's like page 7, tell a new story, page after page after page, telling us that we have to stop telling the old story. And why are we not doing it? Because we have too much resistance to tell a new story. And this is why we need accountability, and we need the inspiration, and we need the bite-sized exercises to really make us feel comfortable to actually tell a new story and not to feel that we're lying. Yeah. And so another one is very, very common in business, is people are busy, and they're busy, and they're not getting any results. And so we need to break the habit of stopping the mindless action, and to actually practice alignment, to start aligning before we take the crazy action. The other one is to be hypnotized. We have to stop the habit of being hypnotized by what we don't want, and to obsess about it, and to really, really think about what we don't want all the time. Because when you fear it, it appears. Fear it, appear it was one of the quotes of Lester Levinson. He's the founder of the release technique. And when you don't know the release technique is one of the studies that I've been in for many years. I was a student, was mentored by one of the most successful teachers there. And actually the release technique, there were a lot of multimillionaires, a lot of people start manifesting lots and lots of money there. When you fear something, you will manifest it as well. So our collective consciousness is geared towards focusing on what we don't want. But what we're going to teach you here is to focus on your desire, focus on what you do want, to talk about what you do want, and to really change the direction of the Titanic. The Titanic is going towards the mountain. We're going to try and turn it around. Yeah. And all the things are leading up to you being a vibrational match with what you do want. Is as little by little every day, you're going to become a vibrational match. Maybe you're not going to achieve it in the 7 days, but if you're going to join us for the 28 days, or you're going to sign up for one of our programs, definitely you will see changes in your life. Because if you're really invested in this, you will create new neural networks, you will create new habits, and at one point your new neural network will be the default network, and you will no longer default into the catastrophic thinking or the other 7 toxic ways of thinking. So being a vibrational match is, of course, breaking the habit of insanity. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results, and doing the same thing as the same personality. Dr. Joe always says, very often people try and create a new reality being the same personality. Imagine that you would see somebody else do it, but imagine that now you're looking in a mirror and you're thinking, actually, that's what I'm doing. I actually now understand that my level of consciousness is at cause of what's going on in my life. And if I don't shift my level of consciousness, then nothing else will shift. So that's a very, very important realization. So to recap, what are we doing here? What we're doing here is we're looking at, we're going to look at 4 areas. So 7 toxic ways of being. We're gonna help you catch yourself and immediately transform it. We're gonna stop you from overanalyzing and from being a victim and from being caught up in the neural network of polarity. We're going to help you practice the skills of imagination, of having vision, and of actually talking about the things that are not even there yet, so that they can appear in your reality. We're going to actually teach you about infinite potential in the 28-day game, because infinite potential is a very important teaching. The infinite potential teachings were the biggest breakthrough for myself, I believe, because because it's so hard for us to believe in the infinite potential, because we don't understand it enough. So there's a lot of teachings there that we would have to study to actually start working with it in our imagination. And also we need to become a vibrational match, and we need to stop focusing on what is just temporary quantum potential. And once you start shifting your vibration, this temporary difficult vibrational reality, it can shift into another one. And a lot of people have seen many miracles happen when they start shifting their vibration. This would happen in very often their personal relationships with people that they felt were really difficult. And I believe that if you can do it with relationships that are very difficult, definitely you can do it with money too. And I've seen it happen, of course, in my own business. So one of the things that we're going to teach, of course, is to give attention to what you do want. And because where attention goes, energy flows. And when we appreciate, we notice what we appreciate, and we draw in more of what we appreciate. And to talk about other things, those things that are like your bank account or your sales or your business partners or your clients, your ideal clients. So what would Abraham Hicks say about it? They say, we want to say to you that your thoughts change the behavior of everyone and everything who has anything to do with you, for your thoughts absolutely equal your point of attraction. And the better you feel, the more that everything and everyone around you improves. In the moment that you find it improved feeling, conditions and circumstances change to match your feeling. So what we're going to look at during the 28-day, but definitely also the 7-day game, is we're going to look at the sales and the prospects that you have. We're going to look at like the things that you're struggling with, which is like maybe clients complaining about the affordability of your product. Very often that's a reflection of you believing that you are too expensive, or you believe that products of other people is too expensive, because everything is a mirror, right? So if you're complaining about other people being too expensive, you're not going to allow yourself to raise your value. So you're going to have to like discount yourself. And so the affordability money piece is very, very big. And a lot of us, really need to reprogram ourselves there, because I know that I had to do a lot of work here about my self-worth and my self-valuation. And this is why Ellen and I, when we were talking about our ideal clients, we really made sure that we were not going to fall into the trap of believing that we have to discount ourselves. We actually really said, we're going to make this game expensive enough so that only serious people will come in, so that the people that are willing to pay the full price, they're going to be surrounded by the people that are very committed, because we don't want this to be a cheap game where people don't value it. They buy it and they don't even invest in it because the monetary investment was too low. So this is what we don't want to do. So what we want to do is we raise our price to such an extent that actually some people complain to us. Some of you complain to us, and we told you, watch the webinar, and if you don't feel that you resonate with the value that we're offering, that it's not for you, because we know who we want to work with. So we want to teach you to really stand by the value of your offer, to really know what you have to offer, and not to discount yourself, and not to really care that much about people who think you're too expensive. Literally, the people who think you're too expensive, they're not your clients. They're not your ideal clients. You only want to focus on your ideal clients who love what you have to offer, who are referring many people to you as your new clients. And this is what's happening with me and Ellen. We have a lot of the people who are playing the games with us referring at least 3 or 4 of their friends to join us, because they are getting so much benefit of what we're doing here. And so we're doing this, and we want to teach it to you. And the first thing is that you should not really look at, oh, if I raise my price, people will be scared, or people will go away. No, that is another way of, that's another level of poverty consciousness that is rampant. It is rampant. And I want to tell you that if you go along with it, that is the reality you are agreeing to, and you're going to be a vibrational match for people that are going to be like that. But that's not where we're going. If you're going to come onto our program, you're going to have to really think about, what is your self-worth, what are your ideal clients, and how are your ideal clients loving loving what you have to offer? How much are they benefiting from it? How much value are they receiving? And so which price are you willing to charge them for it? Okay. So this is a very important topic, because I feel when we were doing the research and, you know, where are people still struggling, it had a lot to do about the value of money and the value of their self-worth and the value of what they had to offer. And that is where they were getting a lot of feedback of their level of consciousness. And I think this is, so it's very, very, very important that when we are designing the game, that we keep this in mind, that these are the real life problems of entrepreneurs. And this is why Ellen and I were very, very guided by, you know, Source, by the downloads that we get, but we also are guided by the realism and the problems of our clients. So we're going to tackle them. So we're going to have a lot of feedback with the people that are in the 28-day game about what's going on in their business, so that we can improve the game every time we play it. So we just spoke about all these other people around us that are defining our business, but everything starts with the self, and everything starts with our relationship with money and our relationship with our self-worth. So a lot of the exercises in the 28-day game will be about this topic, because this is what determines what's going on. And everything that you feel about yourself is what is going to be reflected into your life through the clients, the sales, and what you are getting as feedback about your affordability and about the value of the product or the service that you're offering. So, so we really want to, you know, I've been obsessed by the prosperity teachings for many, many years. I think when you go into my, my library, or you go into my Kindle, I think I have every book about prosperity consciousness, because, you know, being Chinese, we love money, we love wealth, but also because I was struggling with money for a long, long time, because I always wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be a healer, but wouldn't you know it, healers and coaches, they don't really have a lot of abundance consciousness. A lot of them are really struggling. And I was in the pendulum of the coaching business and the healers business, where we really felt guilty about charging money. We loved giving, and I'm an Enneagram 2. And anything that you know about the Enneagram 2, if you are an Enneagram 2 yourself, you're going to be struggling with receiving. And so I had to do a lot of work in terms of really looking at my, you know, how much I was worthy to receive, and how much I was worthy to also charge good money, to actually really elevate my consciousness to that of being the teacher that I am right now, and having the level of success that I have right now, which is also reflected in my love life. Okay, so I think right now I'm going to give the space to Ellen. I hope that you actually, before I go, I just share Ellen, I just want to share one page of our game. So I want to show people, this is the forum that we'll be in. So this is day 1. As you can see, we have 2 videos. One video is about a success story of a guy, what he manifested. And another one is Abraham talking about going to teach you the skill of tell a new story, because we're breaking the habit. My internet connect. Because we're breaking the habit of telling the story of what is, because especially if we don't want it. And also we're going to break the habit of devaluing ourselves. What we're practicing is to guide our thoughts in the direction of what we want. Another skill that is also mentioned in the video is to offer a new vibration before it shows up. And what we're going to practice is we need to pretend that it's already done and imagine it before it happens. And we have an exercise here. And what will happen is all the players will be replying to this. So you'll see, because we have 27 people signed up for this game, we will see 27 comments with people sharing what they are, what happened to them that day. And so you'll be inspired not only by me and Ellen, but we'll be inspired by what other people are manifesting. And also what Ellen and I will be doing, we'll be creating a post about manifestation, so that you can actually put in your manifestation, so that you can actually see what's going on in your life while you're playing the appreciation game. And we want to do that because we really believe that you need to be the scientist of your life. You cannot do things and read and study and go to the workshops and not see the evidence. guys and girls, you can see the evidence, and be critical of yourself. You want to see the evidence because it is not difficult. We have outlined the skills, you know, and you can actually be a very, very a competent player if you know what it takes. Okay, I'm going to go now, and I'm going to give it to Ellen. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Angelique. So yeah, what do you get in the appreciation game? The group accountability, like we said before. The life-changing process of appreciation, actually doing it, knowing what it is, doing it, applying it into your life, and having it become the new normal. Daily new inspirations and teachings, which Angelique just showed. Weekly life calls, uplifting and motivating group energy, which is one of the most important things that we get back from testimonials, is how beautiful it is and how much it really motivates us, everyone, to keep doing the work, and us holding the space for us all. So the universe is not discriminating about the rightness or the wrongness of your request. It is here to accommodate all requests. All you have to do is be a vibrational match to your request, and the universe will yield it to you. Powerful. So this is the 7-day game that we're going to. So there's 4 columns, and then there's the topic, the skill we're going to be working on, how we're going to be playing it, and what we are going to be overcoming. So for example, in day 1, the skill is vision, tuning into new potentials, your vortex, and then overcoming, facing reality, which is huge. And then telling a new story in day 2 and going to the reality feedback loop. And this will be what we'll be doing the next 7 days. So no more complaining. We're talking more about where we're going to and who we're being. No more being stuck in old consciousness. Being inspired by joy, love, instead of fear. All right. Yeah, it's okay. So the 28-day game, we're starting on 27th of February. So that's after the 7-day game. The 7-day game is open for everyone, and the 28-day game is going to be paid. We believe that paying is not only, is also a part of accountability. So if you're investing in yourself and you're investing in your growth, then that ensures better results. So week 1 focuses on self. You can't go anywhere without yourself. Like, this is, you are everyone. And then we're going to others, sales, money, and wealth. Week 3 is joy and ease. And week 4 is a vibrational match for your business vortex. So stop telling it as it is, telling a new story. This is one of the biggest things that you can do, because we so often, nearly always, if we're not doing the work, like if we maybe look at before any of us have come across any of this, these teachings, this is probably how we were leading our lives. I know I was. So we stopped telling it as it is. We stopped being factual, stopped being a historian, stopped creating from the same level of consciousness, just repeating the same thing over and over again. Stop giving energy to what you don't want, and stop telling the truth if you want to change it. If you want to change it, you got to stop going there. So alignment skills we'll be practicing, offering the vibration before the manifestation, so being a vibrational match, choosing to tell the story of what you want, how you want it to go, choose it and make it so, choosing to focus on appreciation versus the toxic ways of thinking. It's a choice, so I really like the word choose, embodying prosperity versus lack consciousness. Always, with every decision you make, live it, always taking 100% responsibility versus victimhood. So offering the new vibration before it shows up, you need to embody it. So in every aspect of your life, of course, it doesn't mean you have to 100% change everything in a minute, but consistently shifting back to that vibrational match that you are becoming, and you will soon just gravitate towards that. Offering a new vibration to change what is showing up. Stop the obsessive focus on the appearances of what is. Just let it go. Stop letting the 5 senses hypnotize you to think change is impossible. And then talking about what we do want. So we're going to condition ourselves to be not thinking about, not complaining. So we're going to have good feeling thoughts and focus. We're going to have the feeling of having it all and that all is working out. We're going to be able to have everything that we want. We're going to train ourselves away from living the lower levels of consciousness. And joy is the path for the business vortex. You're going to come into alignment with the joy of your work, business, and career, being paid for doing the work that you love. The difference between doing what you have to do and what you are inspired to do. And stop taking unaligned action and start getting in the receptive mode. Unaligned action is so passe. Practices we're going to be doing is the Book of Positive Aspects, which is one of the Abraham Hicks processes. Pivoting, pre-paving, and the placemat process, all of them shift us towards where we want to go. This is an example of the worksheet. So you see the time of day, morning, afternoon, and evening, vibrational set point before the 68 seconds at least of appreciation, and the vibrational set point after, and then insights regarding the day. Whatever comes up or whatever has to do with the appreciation or the daily task or anything in your life, you can write it down there and maybe share it with the group if that aspect is something you want to share that day. So why would we play games collectively? Because of the group attractor field, the positive intentions we set, they amplify, and we want this amplification, of course. Otherwise, we would be doing it by ourselves. The community, the inspiration, the sense of belonging, all of us being on this journey together, and the shared excitement, all the beautiful things that people are manifesting and sharing it with each other. It makes everyone so excited to be a part of it. The progress of one member becomes the progress of all the group members, which is the 100th monkey effect, maybe familiar to you. A mastermind becomes one mind through entanglement and the power of the group intention. Oh, it says relationship game, whoops. Accountability, so this is a big thing. Accountability, posts at least once a day. We're going to be learning and studying a new concept every day. Stop being habitual, practicing the appreciation because we know how powerful it is and we have to do it. Emotional mastery. We're not going to be able to, we're not going to linger in those 7 toxic ways of thinking. We're going to notice them, shift them, and then we're back. Heart-brain coherence is going to be a state in our lives. We're going to be in heart-brain coherence a lot of our days. Skip this one. And then the pricing, investing in yourself, investing in the change you want to see in your life, and actually doing the work and thinking about what it's worth to you. So if you want to play the game with us for 1 month, it's $279. And if you want to play for 3 months, it's $649. And 6 months is $1111. We also give a 50% discount for people who are playing for the first time and want to give us a testimonial. So this is applicable for a month. So if you play the 3 months, then it's applicable for that first month still. And that goes for the 6 months as well. And the 20% affiliate commission. As we said, a lot of people are referring people because they have seen so much shifts in their life that they want to share it with the people in their circle. And this also gives them a beautiful 20% affiliate commission. So it's a win-win for everyone. So yeah, that's a beautiful thing we're doing. Any questions? Email us at theappreciationgame2020@gmail.com. And if you want to receive emails for the 7-day game, so every day we send out an email with that daily, the post of that day. So the post that Angelique just took you through, we'll send that in an email. You'll get that around midnight the night before for people in different time zones so that the full day is being utilized. And use this URL, maybe screenshot it now and sign up there if you haven't already. A lot of you, most of you have seen there. So maybe I haven't seen, but I didn't remember all the names on that list, but yeah, just if you're not on there and you want to receive the emails, sign up there. And thank you. And we appreciate you so much. So beautiful to have you all here. And we are so excited to play the 7 days with you and hope to be playing longer with you, of course, because we know that gives you the best benefits. We've been playing, of course, for a while now. Angelique has had many shifts in her life and I have too. And it's just so beautiful to connect with everyone. I just feel so much love for everyone we've had in our game so far. And so beautiful to see some faces here too. So we're excited to start tomorrow.
Yes, and I just want to say, those of you that are thinking, maybe I don't have the time, I can only tell you that, this is the biggest excuse that your program will tell you. And this is also what Dr. Joe says whenever people come to his retreats. They always say, I don't have the time. You know, the thing is, you have to understand that in the vibrational reality, we need to align first and then take action. But in the living in the survival states that we're conditioned to do, to be in, we actually always are so busy, and we're so busy being in the program that we actually do not make the time to embody the changes that we know we need to make. So and I know that I had to deal with all of these, you know, guilt feelings of, you know, when I'm meditating, you know, I'm not working. When I'm doing my appreciation process in my notebooks, I'm not effective or productive. But actually the opposite is true. I can tell you, when you start doing the processes that we give you, you will actually notice so many more shifts than you will ever have when you are going back into your program of being busy and just being worried and just doing business the old way. And so I can tell you that Ellen and I, we, you know, the way that Ellen and I met was through a download. The way that I received the appreciation game was through a download, and it was because I was open and I was surrendering my life and my career and everything to the divine. And the things that we're going to teach you is you're going to be more receptive to the intuition and the guidance that is already there. You're going to be less stuck in your analytical thinking, and because your analytical thinking is just your program, you cannot achieve more results than what your analytical thinking is giving you. So one of the things that we need to teach ourselves is to actually get out of the analytical thinking and to start becoming very psychic. And when you become psychic, you'll have a lot of synchronicities. You'll have the things that I experienced, which is, you know, one of my business partners, the one that I told you about, he actually, when I came back from the Dr. Joe retreat a few weeks ago, when I was in the plane, I finally got onto Wi-Fi in the plane, and he messaged me. He said, we have a meeting with 500 prospects. And I will tell you, I'm happy with one prospect. I'm happy with 5 prospects. I'm happy with 50 prospects, but 500 prospects, that was a little bit out of my comfort zone. But I can tell you, I have set a huge business goal, and I always knew I do not have to worry how it's going to come to me. The cooperative components are already lined up. So I have always been challenging myself with big business goals. Ellen and I, we have our business, our passwords for a lot of our systems have our business goals in it. So the tricks that we're going to teach you are, you know, they're not going to be mind-blowing, but they're going to accumulate to you actually seeing your life in a very different way, because actually I'm now living these things. And it took me a long time to get here, because I was willing to invest thousands of pounds going to retreats with the release technique, with Dr. Joe Dispenza, with Bob Proctor, you know, now with a few other law of attraction teachers. I even went to Catherine Ellis to teach about soulmates, right? Really, you know, everybody that's getting results, I was studying with them. And so I can tell you that, you know, what you're going to get here in the appreciation game, you're going to get the accountability, you're going to get the inspiration from the group, you're going to get bite-sized micro teachings every day, and you're going to get a synthesis of the best teachers out there. You can still do the work with the other teachers, but when you're working with us, you are going to change your habits day by day. You're going to go from knowing to doing to being. And that is the promise that we can make you. And so if you want to sign up for the 28-day game and you know it already, we still have to set up the payment system, but finally we manifested in one day an amazing bank that gave us our bank account. And so we're going to set up the payment system so that you can sign up. And also those of you who are the amazing, basically the affiliates of our game, you're going to be receiving the money as well. So we're so glad that some of you are actually making money with our game. And this is what we love, because we see ourselves as the cooperative component of your fortune. Yeah. So hopefully we'll have a lot of you on our game, and I want to thank you all for being here. Those of you watching the recording, we hope to see you in the game. Lots of love, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for being
Bye.
here. Lots of
Bye
love.
bye. Bye.